It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Big thanks to Derek of Baker Fix Clan and our featured patrons. And I like to mention that our anonymous patrons, I don't mention them enough, but we do have 3 anonymous patrons, and their names are anonymous. We also have Homer CF, BA Wag 75, Roomba Cats, Stark AZ, MP Dreyer, Fishing Kitty, Winland Bunch, and our new patrons, Tag and the GSDs, the Bryant Boys, Bell on the Move, Hailmeister, RJ Elder, and KC0AOO. I don't know if I did that right or not. Let me know if I screwed that up or not. But that's what their GC name is. It's kind of like O0 Riddlin Kids 0O, Jesse. That's the KC0A0AOO. So.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to ask him how to pronounce it.
I'm guessing it. I'm sure it stands for something. So anyway, all right. We're in the show. I think we're in show 511. Welcome, Bryce Reed, to the show. Welcome to Geocache Talk.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, glad you can make it tonight. It's going to be great. Going to be a fun night. I think it'll be interesting. Really to there we go. Yes, that is corrected. But what? But what? I don't know. You leave us hanging. But yeah. Thanks, Bryce, for being with us tonight. And we got a couple news items, and then we'll jump into the top topics for tonight. Let's start with. And I messed up Adi's name. Still doesn't pronounce my name correct. Okay.
There's no excuse for that. You've known him for years.
I know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay. We're moving on. So every premium member can now create an adventure. This means your geocaching account has a credit available to create an adventure with up to 5 locations. Now you can add the growing number of memorable and fun experiences created by people just like you. So,
did you know that was coming out?
I did not.
I did not either. And all of a sudden, you just get an adventure lab, and how many is that going to produce? That seems like it's going to be a lot.
Well, you've seen the map. The map is thousands of adventures out there right now. So
yeah, but if every premium member gets one, I don't know how many premium members there are. I'm sure we can look that up somewhere, right? But if even half of them, it's going to be like a million adventure labs out there. So I don't know. That's going to be. Seems like it's going to flood the field pretty good.
Oh yes, I agree. Sorry, I'm definitely squirreling tonight, distracted. It's his amateur call sign. Okay, there you go.
Makes sense.
So that makes ham radio operator is my guess, right?
Maybe he's a fighter pilot. Who knows?
He could be a fighter.
It is
Possible.
that season, right? Top Gun and stuff.
There you go. Yeah, so we're planning to do another show. We did one quite a while back, but we'll do another show about how you even create an adventure lab, create a good one. So, yes.
I bet we can find people out there that only do adventure labs.
Probably so. I mean,
think about it. People have come into the game, and that's just the digital side of it, and I bet there's people out there that are like, I'm not going to look for Tupperware trash in the woods. I'm just going to do these digital ones. It's like a video game on my phone. So it's a different breed, but, I bet there's people out there. There's no way to you can't even check that on Project GC, I don't think, but see, there's people that have had thousands of those finds, but like 0 real finds.
Yeah. So have you ever done an adventure lab yet? Bryce, have you?
Yeah, I've done a few. I could see people like finding out about that first and not knowing about geocaching, because it is a separate app, even though they are synced.
Right.
Like your adventure lab finds count as geocaches towards your sum total.
Right. But if you live in a big city, maybe adventure labs kind of is something you could do without worrying about muggles and so forth. So.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. And then our other note we want to discuss tonight, and actually we're going to bring Jeff on with us. So there you are.
Hey,
Jeff, how are things up in Canada?
Oh, it was a nice warm day today. Great weekend. Sun was out. I think I might have got some sun.
What is a warm day in Canada? What does that mean?
What's a warm day up there?
Yeah, 15,
50s?
20 degrees.
15
Celsius.
20 Celsius, yeah. Wait, hang on. I could convert that. Wait,
that's like 95 real, 95 American. I don't know what that is.
Probably 95 American.
What's the translation to?
Yeah.
Wait, I can do it.
That's like advanced algebra to be able to translate that over.
Yep. So yeah, the announcement.
Yeah.
The news.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got distracted by Celsius.
We got lost with Celsius. You blew all of our minds.
I'm very squirrel tonight. So yes, tell everybody about Challenge Academy and what's going on with Challenge Academy for Cache Fest, please.
Yeah. So we announced last week on Challenge Talk that the Challenge Academy content for Cache Fest in July, we have challenge passports. And the first one we just announced to start last week was the GeoTrails passport. And now we have the passport ready for you to download. It's a PDF that you can download and start accomplishing all the tasks you can think of that you're able to, and just try to complete the GeoTrails on your way to the mega event, Cache Fest. And lots of prizes to win. And we've got the Wheel of Challenges will be at Challenge Academy at Cache Fest.
Wheel of Challenges. Okay, I messed that up. Sorry.
Yeah,
and, we're super excited for it, but we just wanted to provide a whole bunch of fun for everybody who's going to be there and have a lot of fun while there. There will be 2 other passports as well during the event to work on for fun as well.
That's awesome.
You basically have to try hard not to have a chance to win a prize. That's basically how it works out. If you try it all, you'll have a chance to win a prize.
Yep.
I'm really excited for Challenge Academy. We've all been kind of huddled. We've kind of split everything up into groups, and I've been trying to help. I'm helping the puzzle guys with the Puzzle Academy, and the gadget guys are doing the gadget stuff. And I know that I'm in the group chat with all the other folks, with Emily and you and Jesse, and I was hearing conversations, and I heard on the side, and I saw you guys having meetings, and and once I saw what you guys were doing, it's amazing. It's really, there's never been like something like that at a mega ever. I mean, I guarantee you. I've been to many megas. Jesse's been to many megas. Jeff, you've been to many megas. we've all seen or heard, if we haven't been to other ones, about things that go on at megas, and this takes the cake. This is by far the most incredible thing that's ever been done in a mega as far as challenges goes.
Yeah, and we're hoping it's going to be fun and accessible for everybody. And it's the first time we're doing it, so who knows if it's perfect or not, but there's always room for improvement if it happens again. So, yeah. We're
Even if it isn't
doing
perfect,
our best to make
it's
sure
gonna
you
be
guys have fun.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jeff. I mean, even if it's not perfect, I know you guys are knocking out of the park already. I mean, just with the things that you're going to get, people are going to get to do to be part of it. And so I'm excited. There's so many things going on for Cache Fest, so much that we can't even get into tonight. But anyway, got the graphic up. We'll have the link in the show notes, but also it's let me bring up there's the graphic for the first challenge, passport number 1, correct, for the Geo Trails. So that's awesome. All right, very good. Thanks, Jeff. We'll talk soon, and looking forward to everything.
Yep, it'll be fun.
Thanks, Jeff. It will be. I know it will be. Thanks, my friend. All right. Good stuff going on for that. All right. Let's get into the last couple items. Jesse, you want to update us on webcams in the world?
Yeah, I stopped updating on webcams, but then we talked about it on Challenge Talk recently. So I thought I'd bring it out on this one too. And I looked it up again today, and it's just going down so fast. So the only reason I'm bringing it up, we're down to 84 in the US and 212 worldwide right now. They're enabled. Wow. The only reason I bring that up is because we're talking about megas and stuff like that. If you're traveling this summer, if you're going to a mega, and there's other megas too besides Memphis, but I don't know why you go to any of those. Just go to Memphis. But kidding, of course. But if you get anywhere near, or you're doing your route, or you're jumping on Cache Tour or whatever, get those webcams. They are almost gone, and we have no reason to think that they're going to come back like virtuals did or anything else. But 5 years from now, when they're all gone, and we get to tell people, yeah, we used to have these things called webcams, you're going to be regretting every one you didn't get. Because, it's going to be the grandfathered in deal, and you get to talk smack because they can't get any more. And I'm just urging you to get out. If you're anywhere close, drive out of your way to get it. But they're almost gone now. There's more like year 2000 caches than there are webcams. They're getting extremely rare. So
have you ever done a webcam?
I don't know, but
no, I've never found a webcam one actually. So I knew they exist, but there don't seem to be any in the Chicago area.
I don't know where the closest one would be for you.
I would search one. Even if you only get one, I would get one, just because you'll regret if you don't get the opportunity to do it later.
At least one.
Yeah. The game for years. And they're silly. They're easy. You go and you take your picture. You understand why they don't do it now, because back in the day that was hard. You had to call somebody on the computer and stuff and get them to do it. But now you can pull up your phone. Hey, there's me.
Right here.
There I am. Yeah.
But that's one of those things that's definitely going away unless HU has something that they haven't told us yet, which obviously they could. That'll be one of those things within a couple years, I'll predict. Like, oh, remember those things we used to have? But yeah. And then I have one other thing. So I'm moving. We talked about this before the show. I'm moving from down to Florida. I'm changing Colorado. 12 years I've been here. I'm going outside Tampa. And I was all super excited until the other day we decided, you know what, let's host an event, just a going away event. And then I started getting sad because I realized, like, all my friends that I have here are geocachers. I've met almost everybody outside of work. I met everybody through geocaching, and I'm leaving that group. And as people started saying, like, hey, I'll be there, I was like, crap, I'm not going to be able to just call them up and go geocaching with them anymore. So that was kind of that sobering of the big move. Everything else was like, oh, we're excited, we're going to the beach. Oh, we're leaving all our geocaching friends. So that was one of those that reality set in for us when we hosted that, or published that event the other day. But happy and sad times, right? So enjoy your geocaching friends while you're near them, because you never know who moves off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll make lots of new geocaching friends down in Florida. So
there you go.
Now it is kind of nice to refresh the game board. Like, everything is brand new. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of like cheating almost, but I'm looking forward to that part of it.
Yeah. Jim mentions, so just to let you know, Bryce, there's one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. If you want to make a big trek down to Fort
Oh, okay.
Wayne,
Maybe we'll take a road trip out there.
road trip down there or whatever. So, oh, he said that this is a much closer. There appears to be a couple in Milwaukee, so that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That's a short trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I visited a friend. I visited a friend in Milwaukee. We went down to a Blackhawks game, so I know you can do that in one night. So
Yep. Yeah, they're not far.
Not far from Milwaukee. So, yeah, very cool. All right, well let's get into the show. So again, Bryce, thanks for being on with us.
Pleasure.
Bryce, we're gonna run the gamut of different things tonight. We'll get into your caching here in a minute, but I know we talked about before, and I really appreciate you being on tonight, right now, because you told us that you've got a little bit of jitters going on tonight because you run a show, and the show's going on right now, and you're not there. So tell people a little bit about your show, PORTAL-PROV, and just kind of what all goes on at that during that time. So
sure. So in addition to being a geocacher, and I am a performer, an improviser, and director, and so I direct a show here in Chicago at the Otherworld Theater called PORTAL-PROV, and it's a fully improvised sci-fi and fantasy comedy show. And each week we have a different theme. So the theme for tonight is Doctor Who. But we've done everything from Ghostbusters to Jane Austen. So we've had all kinds of different themes. And it's all hosted by a mysterious character called the Portal Guide. So it's a lot of fun. And the show is every Sunday at 7 at Otherworld Theater. We also live stream it on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. But that's going on right now. This is our 9th show performance of this show. And this is my first time missing it. So it feels like I'm leaving the babies with the babysitter for the first time.
I know.
I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure.
Yeah, they got to be fine. Please. Be fine.
You can be funny without me, right?
Yeah.
No, that'll be great.
You're missing the Doctor Who show. I think there's a few people that are questioning.
But yeah, so that's Selection Project. Oh yeah, I'm sure they're like, wait, what? You're going to talk about what on another podcast? What is this?
What's going on? Why are you leaving us? What happened? Yeah. So
don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be back next Sunday.
Chronically Tired Mom's asking, how did the Jane Austen one go? That sounds very interesting. So,
we did that one on Easter Sunday. So it was a small but enthusiastic audience. I think we had about like 10 people in the audience. And it was really fun. I went in thinking, like I always kind of thought of Jane Austen as, probably because she's a female author, that this would appeal primarily to women, but we had a good mix of people there. And we did a lot of research, men and women included in the cast. And so it was definitely educational for me and a lot of other people. And I actually came away with an appreciation for the author. And it was fun to play with social status and the sexism of the day and make fun of that. So it was a fun show, Lanissa.
Yeah, she you know her because I know she's a geocaching friend of yours, I think.
Yeah, and we're both TikTok.
You're right. Exactly.
Right.
So
we interact on TikTok.
Yeah, she says she adores Jane Austen. My wife loves Jane Austen. I watched a Jane Austen movie with my wife, and some of them are pretty good. Some of them are a little bizarre. Wasn't Emma's the one that's really strange? What's the one where the person's like, oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble here. It's like a mystery. They don't know the person's living in the middle of this big house and nobody knows what's going on.
I don't think I looked into that one. The one I watched was Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah. Emma, though, I think it's a Jane Austen one.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. All right. That's as far as I'll go with that. I'll figure out the one I'm thinking about, and I'll get back to everybody on what I was thinking. So anyway, so that's really fun. We got a lot of people in the notes that are in the chat room who are fans of the improv. Something we talked about prior to the show was that I think even Jess and I would maybe try a sketch type thing, an improv type thing, but but you said you've actually done a little bit of open mic, although that's not your favorite thing to do. But I could not imagine standing up and trying to do stand up where you stand there, tell jokes, and hope somebody laughs at you or laughs with you.
Oh yeah, it's horrifying. I mean, with improv, there's someone else there to blame, for sure. And then there's also the excuse, oh, I just made it up off the top of my head, so
Right.
it wasn't good. Then I have that excuse. But with stand up, not only are you there by yourself, so there's no one else to blame, but you're also doing material that you wrote. And so you actually think is good and have thought about it. And so if the audience doesn't respond to it, then it can be quite mortifying. Sketch and improv are my forte, but hats off to all stand-up comics out there.
So
it's
how
different kind of brave for all of those things, though. Not every business that you're in, you get immediate feedback right in your face. Right. If the audience is there in front of you, you're going to know whether it's going over well or not. So
that can also be like one of the best parts, right? Is you get immediate feedback, and exactly how you're doing, whether or not they're making that particular sound. So it's I think Jerry Seinfeld says this, but comedy self corrects itself because you get immediate feedback and know how you're doing in the moment.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at from I would say a negative side, but from a positive side, you might kill it. You might stand there and you start telling some jokes and the place is rolling on the floor and you're like, hey, this is pretty good.
Oh yeah, there's no bigger high for sure. Absolutely. After being in a show that crushes, no better feeling. I can't sleep. I can't sleep after that. I'm up all night excited.
There's definitely an adrenaline rush after that. So how did you get started with improv? I know in some of your schooling, I think is fascinating. So give us a little bit of background as to where you did train and what it was like to go through some of those, because some of us are just used to sort of what I'd call standard school, what was it like going to some of those different types of schools that you went to?
Sure. So I've been doing improv about close to 20 years now, crazily.
Wow. That's great.
And so I I'd say I started in 2004 when we created our college improv team. It was called Grandma's Third Leg at Salem State College, now University in Massachusetts, which is where I'm from. And we, my friend Mike and I knew very little. We'd seen Whose Line Is It Anyway on TV. And so he kind of took the lead and I was kind of like the second in command. And then he graduated and I inherited this group. So I learned so much to begin with just by doing it. And then when I graduated, I was a theater major, so I was performing in other capacities. And when I graduated, I got involved in the Boston theater scene, and I was involved at theaters like Improv Asylum and Improv Boston. And I was, I would teach and direct and perform at those places. And about 8 years ago, I moved to Chicago because Chicago is thought of as being sort of the mecca of improv comedy. And it's got the world famous Second City here. So
City.
Yeah. So I want to get some of that Second City stink on me,
That's awesome.
See where that led me. And so I went through the conservatory program there, and something called House Co, which is another program you have to audition for. And then you're performing every Saturday for a year with that. And I briefly taught in the youth program there.
Cool.
Yeah. And since then, I've been kind of like just auditioning for things. And now that I'm involved at Otherworld, I'm directing this show and looking for other opportunities to perform. And on TikTok.
Awesome. Which we're going to we'll get to. Yeah, we're going to get to TikTok, which is interesting how this came about. But so, John Candy, Eugene Levy, Bryce Reed. I mean,
that's right. Those are the big three when you think of Second City. I mean, I put myself directly after John Candy, but other than that, I think that's pretty accurate. So.
Right in there, with the group. It's funny though, if people that don't know, who I grew up watching Saturday Night Live. As a kid, I remember I remember the early days. I'm old, so I remember all those days. But I was a big fan, and there's a lot of people that for a period of time, Second City was not really as well known. Nowadays, you see Schitt's Creek with Eugene Levy, or you see different people who were involved in Second City, who we see them sort of in the mainstream. You can say that, but
Yeah.
I used to love watching the SCTV. I mean, that's something that if you go back and watch, that's a little different tweak than Saturday Night Live, but still,
Yeah.
I found it to be still great comedy. Some great comedians that were there. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they were based out of Toronto, the Toronto Second City.
right.
SC stands for Second City TV.
Right.
So it was I think it was their Second City cast, or people maybe formerly. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that show holds up.
Yeah. So yeah, as people mentioned about Second City. So yeah. So you're doing the show. When did you start with PORTAL-PROV? Was that 20? What year was that you think we started with?
So we're only 9 shows into PORTAL-PROV. This is a new venture.
Gotcha.
I've been involved with Otherworld, where we're doing the show
gotcha.
for several years in other capacities. I was in a show called Improvised Dungeons and Dragons. And when it became clear that show wasn't going to come back, there's Sundays at 7 was open. And so I pitched my idea for a new improv comedy show called PORTAL-PROV. Yeah, and it's going well so far. I'm excited.
Now, what's interesting though is, and we don't, Justin and I don't like to talk about pandemic a whole lot because we want to get past all that world, but it is fascinating for your story because you had geocached a while back and then kind of drifted away from it a little bit, and then the pandemic hit. And so tell people a little bit about kind of what you had to go through, because you can't do theater. I mean, you could by yourself, I guess, or you could do it virtually, but you guys, that did Otherworld shut down? They didn't do any of their shows, correct? Is that
early in the pandemic? We tried to do some live stream stuff, and some of those shows are still up on YouTube that you can watch. But eventually, it kind of they decided to take this opportunity to just basically shut down and focus on when we can reopen. And comedy, same thing. A lot of people were doing like Zoom improv and stand-up shows. Obviously, we all would rather be in person, and so I sat a lot of that out, quite frankly. Yeah, so I was looking for stuff to do. I wasn't performing as much as I had been. I was looking for outlets and like, safe things I could do outside by myself. And so I remembered, not that I'd ever fully stopped, but I got reinvested myself in geocaching.
right?
And around the same time, I was talking to my therapist, to be frank, because she was like, you need an outlet for performance.
Outlet, right?
Yeah, and like what if you got on TikTok? And I'm like, I'm a little old for TikTok. I don't know, but I'll try it. So I got on there, and so I was geocaching in my free time, and I was going on TikTok in my free time. Yeah. And then eventually the two kind of merged together, and I was like, what if I just take people with me on my adventures? So if you ever want to watch my TikToks, I'm
oh my gosh, they're awesome.
At the Bryce Reed on TikTok, the Bryce Reed.
Yes.
And it's mostly geocaching, but I also, look for old bottles, and occasionally, like last night, I went on a 5K concert run.
Yeah.
So I basically take what people on adventures and try to make it a little funny.
It's funny is that I ran across you from, and I don't get on social media a whole lot, but I was on Twitter and ran across it. And of course, Twitter, TikTok, you can link the two kind of, and I started watching. I mean, I'm binge watching Bryce Reed, man, doing TikTok. And I was like, we got to have this guy on the show, man. This guy is awesome. So I've got a few TikToks we're going to show.
Okay.
And so we'll kind of, if we need to stop it at any point, we can discuss, but there's a lot of jewels out there. There's a lot lot of gems,
I'm not gonna
Bryce,
show them
out there to
all, just
watch.
some of them. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's a lot of content up there. So
A lot of content. We've
Yeah,
only got, I picked out a few, so I want you to we'll talk about them. So,
great.
So let me share my screen and we will get right into showing a few of these because
as you're pulling those up, I guess we can say two positive things about the pandemic. People got on TikTok and created a lot of content, and
true.
a lot of people got either back into or into geocaching for the first time. Like
Yeah.
millions
Very
of
true.
people got into it. Well, we'll see how many stay now that you can do whatever you want to do again. But it gained a lot of traction during that time.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of parents who didn't know what to do with their kids, and they got their kids into it, like, because they read somewhere that was a fun family activity. So kind of cool.
Very cool. All right. So there we go. And I think we're going to thank you, sir. My producer is on top of things tonight. So, all right. We'll start with this one.
The Escape Game Chicago. I'm here to find a geocache and to do an escape room and to hang out with my friend Brendan and some friends on his birthday. I think I see the geocache right here. I should also mention that this cache was placed by the very prolific Z Wild. But before we get to that, we're going to enjoy the escape room.
So funny, I think, that in a giant city like Chicago, you found what I would consider a giant geocache.
Yeah. And that one was inside a business.
I know.
The Escape Game Chicago, which, you go into a room and escape the room in an hour, and you're solving puzzles. So it's very on mission for them to be involved with geocaching. But a guy I know placed that one and asked if I would come check it out.
Yeah, it's just funny though, because the big thing we're going to talk about tonight is just so many people have not tried to geocache either in a city or even a big city. So like, something like Chicago, to go to Chicago and try to find a geocache, there's a lot, but then there's some sort of tricks that we're going to learn about from you. But let me kind of go on. Go ahead, Jesse. We can say something. Maybe no. Okay. Pardon me. Let me show a little more of this video.
All right, crews, all here. We're about to go into Special Ops Mysterious Market, and it's Brendan's birthday. Happy birthday, Brendan. Thank you very much. Medal.
As always, this mission is strictly confidential.
So the obvious clue might be the lion. Turns on that light. Button turns on those lights.
We love escape rooms.
Behind the poster is a hole.
Me
Use
too.
the chain to knock over.
This one was really fun too.
Get a key.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in, baby. So we're smelling these bags to figure out what they smell like.
Kind of cool that they let you spin inside there.
Oh, we got a rhino head.
The key.
And a key.
To.
Probably this other purse.
I think so.
Oh, it's a lion, I think.
I think so. Or a bear?
Oh, my.
Yes.
Oh, we're going in an elevator.
Must be in the elevator.
You are in no way qualified for the task at hand.
Okay. So we need to find some other tools.
All right, we got the power on, baby.
Looks like a good one.
Sun's rising up here.
Yeah.
What's up? We're using the thermal imagery to figure out which of these things.
Yeah, this one starts out, you're in a marketplace.
Yeah,
and
less
we had
than
no
5
idea
minutes to
that
disarm this nuclear warhead.
Right.
Okay, we're good. We got all our things lit.
So what's interesting, and some of us that don't know, I mean, I helped Josh, and you know Josh with the geocaching vlogger,
Yeah.
does a lot of TikTok, and but I helped him one day. We were at where were we? I think we're in Cisco, Jesse. I think. No, where were we? Yeah, no, I don't know where we were. I've lost track. He was doing TikTok, but he was doing, and I don't understand, and I don't want to get into a lot of details about TikTok, but you could record, like when you did that particular video, you cut a lot of those together. Now, did you cut those together later, or how did you?
Yeah, so some people record straight into the app. I just record using the camera app, and then you edit it in the TikTok app later. That way I have I can be more discerning about which clips I want to use, and I don't have to worry about it in the moment. And TikTok is good for that because they make it real easy for people who really don't know how to edit to put stuff together. So thanks, TikTok.
Thanks. Thank you, TikTok. TikTok sponsors of Geocache Talk.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Hey, well, we can be bought. Go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot of work to do those, though. We've, Joshua and Derek and all them, they film a lot of stuff for their YouTube and for TikTok and everything else. And you may have like a 1 minute clip. It didn't take 1 minute to produce that. We know that for a fact. It took much longer. And
absolutely. And and Josh, he does this, professionally. So like he's got like a lot of different equipment. And he's shooting lots of angles. So yeah, you're absolutely right. For like a short TikTok, he's put a lot of, a ton of effort into it. I think of Craig C. Michelle as well, like a filmmaker, and he makes them look really good. Yeah,
we love Craig. Craig is good dude. So somebody was asking though, Bryce, in the chat room, they said, is TikTok like Twitter, is like 30-second max videos is their question.
Yeah, so I think it used to be that they had to be under a minute, but now they have to be under 3 minutes. But 3 minutes is the max that you can post. And that's one fun thing about that is it forces you to be brief and not to talk for too long or spend too long on one thing. So there's a real art to editing them together by how can I get the adventure across in as little time and as little information as possible. And it's just the highlights.
Just the highlights. And we're going to do the next one, which is another one that I found this one to be incredibly fascinating. This cache is, well, I'm gonna let you explain the cache. Let me kind of run through part of it. Bryce, and then what I'll do is I'll stop it and ask you about this cache a little bit. So,
all right.
So let's do that.
It's after work, and I'm on my way to a vampire-themed geocache. Ooh, it's raining a bit, but that's okay because I have a feeling that this is going to take me underground. And all I have to work with are these cryptic maps.
So the maps. So we were talking about this before the show, and I think this is a fascinating idea for a geocache. So tell people a little bit about the experience of doing this cache.
Sure. So this geocache is vampire themed, and it starts by saying that they saw a vampire disappear into some place where vampires might live near the coordinates. And what that turned out to mean was it took you down in Chicago's Headway system. If you're not familiar with Chicago, there is a series of interconnecting tunnels underneath the downtown area. And there's businesses and restaurants even down there. And they go there. It's kind of an extensive place you can travel in cold weather. And I had never been down there. So I found out I had to go down. And that map you saw, all the symbols, like some of them represent going upstairs, downstairs, through a turnstile. And some of them I wasn't exactly sure. I just kind of had to guess. But those maps were all I had to find my way through this catacomb of sorts. And I got a little lost several times, but I eventually made my way to the cache in the end.
So let's keep going.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the compass I need. Looks like I'm heading down into the infamous Chicago Headway system. So the Headway system is a series of tunnels underneath Chicago that you can use to get around. And somehow I've never explored them before. So this is exciting. Ooh, stained glass.
It is insane that there's all this stuff down here.
Yeah. There's restaurants down here.
There's restaurants.
This is really cool.
I've been in the Headway system before, like we were talking about before the show, and it's. But it also obviously connects to the loop or some.
Yeah, like you can see it connects to the train station.
I need to get on
connects
the
to all these
elevator here.
It connects to Macy's.
Right. I love that look.
I don't know where I'm going. Gotta say, it's cool to see a new aspect.
That's every geocacher at some point.
8 years. And it's all been right below my feet. Where are you, Wampirs? I can't believe how many businesses are just underground here. It's like another world.
So you had never been down there before this geocache?
Correct. Like I had heard of it, but I wasn't sure where it started, and I didn't realize it was this extensive.
Underground, and then
It was very interesting to go
Previous
down.
people had trouble with the maps at this point too. I'm taking a gamble that I was supposed to head outside, but it's not clear. Let's see if heading down to the Riverwalk is the right way to go. I'm grasping at straws here. The photos in the log indicate this ends at a different part of the Riverwalk, so I probably exited the Headway in completely the wrong place. Okay, the pictures are really starting to line up, and the clue says it's inside a metal tube. Could it be this one? I don't think so. Let's try over here. It's got to be right here somewhere.
That's what we always. That's what every geocacher says.
All this time in the vampires
How could it not be right here?
It's got to be right here. Look, it's this dark now.
Yeah.
Bryce is still
You thought
still
it had it
after it.
Holy crap! I actually found it after reaching in and trying to get this out.
A pretty large
for
one
like 10
for
minutes while people walked by.
Yeah,
That's
for the
weird.
city, and like a
What a
heavy
cash
trafficked
out.
area
Look how
too.
muddy my hand is.
yeah. What a
And my
pretty area.
knees. Guess I can't wear these jeans to work tomorrow. Inside, we have a custom stamp that has seemingly been with this cache since the beginning. We have an army guy, and we have the logbook. Signed it. And I'm going to leave one of these Ghostbuster pins. Now to put this back, only not so far in this time. I'm muddy. I'm wet. I'm downtown. I'm tired. And I defeated the vampires. Ha ha. Take that, vampires. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I got off work at 5, and I don't think I like left the downtown area till like 9 or 10.
Oh my gosh, yeah, pretty area though. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's a cool place to explore for sure, especially along the river. It's beautiful.
Along the Chicago River there, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, that's we've all been there, man. We've all been there. You think I mean, you didn't give up though. You hung in there. Of course, you were saying you were lining up. You used what you were given, obviously in the cache, but then you were smart and you used some of the pictures that other people had posted, which I think all of us have used at some point too, to kind of where were they standing? Maybe, those are always good clues.
Yeah, I was trying to line up like pictures people had taken of themselves with the buildings in the background. And it made it was clear that a lot of it was taking place on the Riverwalk. But when I got down to the Riverwalk, it was clear that it was a different part of the Riverwalk. And then in the distance, I kind of recognized one of the buildings. So I walked probably 100 yards down and things started to look familiar. But even as you saw in the video, even once I was there, I wasn't sure. And I ended up climbing behind this area of the bridge that I thought for sure it can't be here. They wouldn't have made us climb up here, but no, they did. They did.
Nope, they did.
And it explains why it's been there so long, because people aren't going to be climbing up there. But yeah, that was a real fun one.
And you were brave enough to go. You didn't know where the final was, so you're brave enough to go and do this. Like, you didn't script that out ahead of time. You actually went and filmed it all. I mean, I guess you didn't have to post it or whatever, but
I film all my TikToks in real time and then reassemble them later. Sometimes I'll change the order of footage to make things that go together. But no, all the footage is shot in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of them, I think I appreciate Geocache, and Katie used to do this when she did a lot of her vlogs, is she would do a whole vlog and not find the cache. So I mean, there have been some that you've done where, to me, it was fascinating to watch because somebody's trying to find a cache is always kind of interesting to watch, and then you didn't find it. I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I always feel a little self-conscious when I post the did not find videos, but I think I'm finding that people find it relatable. And it's also I've already shot all the footage assuming I was going to find it. Sure. So it's I don't want to abandon this just because I didn't end up finding it in the end. But I try to make the journey is the biggest part of the adventure, right. My philosophy. Absolutely. And sometimes the story doesn't end the way you want it to, but I try to have a story with beginning, middle, and end.
Right. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's giving you a heart.
She's teasing me because I say drat in my video.
Drat. Yes. Drat.
Pretty often when I don't find it.
Like the old timey, You dastardly whiplash.
Scraps, curses,
Curses you, Geocache.
The other thing that's kind of difficult that people forget about too is, like this was an awesome geocache, and the geocache you found in the, in the escape room, those are awesome, right? Those are one of a kind. You don't find those a lot like that. Those are very unique. I guess a lot of the challenge for, you and, answer this for me, but a lot of the challenge sometimes is a lot of geocaches are not that exciting. So you've got to really tell a good story to make. Not every geocache sends you through a subway, right? And then it goes in an escape room. So I think that's where the real skill comes in, is how you tell the story.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. And that's something I realized early on. Like, I was like, oh, a lot of these are kind of the same. I geocache primarily in the city, in the Chicago area. I don't have a car. So if I want to go anywhere else, I'm carpooling or renting a car or taking a train or something like that. And a lot of what's in the city are what we call micros. There's only room for a tiny little log to sign your name. And a lot of these are the same. Sometimes they're in magnetic key holders. Sometimes they're in little nano containers or what's the bison tubes, right? Sure. So a lot of times you're finding the same kind of container. And so as I was making videos, like, it kind of occurred to me, like, what if it's about the journey? So I've started talking about like what I've been up to that day, highlighting the things I see on the way, making jokes, talking about points of interest or historical landmarks or cool architecture. And that kind of makes it like, ideally, I don't know, that's my mission, if you want to call it that, is to make it feel like you're on the journey with me.
Those personal stories make it a lot more relatable. That's most people watching those videos. Some people watching those videos, I guess, and I can't say most people are geocachers, or at least know what geocaching is, or at least somewhat interested in it. But telling those other stories and pointing out those other things, I think, is what makes it so relatable for people. Yeah, absolutely. And it's also, and people might be like, oh, I walk by that all the time. I had no idea that this thing called geocaching was in my neighborhood.
It is fascinating though when you find those rare. Unfortunately, they're somewhat rare. I mean, part of it, like you've experienced, is it's a little tough to hide caches in a big city. I mean, you have to definitely plan accordingly to get, especially when you do one of any kind of size. I mean,
are you saying that you can't just throw an ammo can down in the subway? That'd be problems at all.
Fascinating. Yeah, that'd be fascinating.
That will ruin everyone's commute for the day.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, you think the bomb squad would be called real quick with a chained ammo can to the
chained ammo can in the subway? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Those geocachers.
Yeah,
Monday.
Oh gosh, yes. No, that's great. Yeah, no, that would be bad.
But yeah, you're right. It's really it's challenging to hide geocaches in the city because there's so many people walking by. You have to, the good ones are hidden in a like creative way, or they're just hidden in such a way that someone can't possibly stumble across it unless they're looking, and that's a challenge.
Yeah, I think the other part though, and we've all kind of, I think, experienced a little bit of this, is that if you're in a place that has some fascinating locations, okay, you stuck a nano there because you wanted me to come to that spot to see something. I mean, I don't know, Jesse, you were at Wrigley Field for World Series. I mean, was there any caches nearby? You remember? Or?
Well, the funny thing is, and Bryce may know this too, but so we've cached in Chicago several times over the years because we go out for games or whatever. During the series, they actually removed all of the caches within the perimeter around. They removed every single one. They contacted all the owners, removed every single one. You couldn't even access them on geocaching.com. They worked with geocaching.com to do that, I believe. So you couldn't even like go and get them. Now we had been in that area before, so it was not an issue, but so we knew what was actually in that area. But yeah, but just for safety reasons, they went ahead and removed them all because it was a very secure area around Wrigley. But normally, there's ones all over the place, and I can't remember if it's a virtual or I think it's a virtual. That's you got to stand in front of the sign, the marquee sign in front of the field.
All you gotta do is take a picture of yourself in front of that sign. You can do that virtual.
So there's definitely some that are in that area.
I've
There's
got
another one where you have to find information on the different statues around the field. Like there's a statue of Harry Carey and various baseball players.
Oh wow,
so that's another fun one. Or actually, that one might be an adventure lab now that I think about it. But anyway,
yeah. And I think there's some physical ones in that area too, like over by Murphy's and stuff like that. But nothing like right up on the stadium because obviously they have to keep that secure. But
yeah,
you have to be creative or they will disappear. And there's so many people in that area.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of foot traffic.
Yeah, lots.
Yeah. We're going to show one virtual here in a moment that you did, which I found fascinating. And I appreciate the way you did it on TikTok. And we'll show that here in a minute. Oh gosh, Direwolf. Direwolf's a big Cardinals fan, so he's got to bring up the
talking smack.
Him, Cardinals and Cubs, man. You mentioned the Cubs, and poor Direwolf goes bonkers, man. Anyway, but yeah, there's sort of a art. It's kind of an art, I think, to urban caching, both finding them because you've got to have to think a little bit outside the box because you're like, well, if it was a tree, in a park, it'd be different. But I'm near, you obviously you're thinking lampposts and all that kind of thing. But it's fun when you can find hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
The fake electrical socket type thing, or those are kind of the. I appreciate when a cacher will really go out of his way to hide something where thousands of people are basically going to walk past it and not even blink an eye. They're not even going to stop and look. And then it's a trick.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pull it off. Do
you have tricks that you use for that when it's a crowded area?
Tie the shoe or...
when I'm looking, you mean? So it's not to get caught? Yeah, I just tying the shoe for sure. I also will walk by several times. Like I'll just walk by, then turn around, walk by again.
Right. So look completely suspicious before you do it. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to draw. Me. I'm an entertainer. I like a crowd.
That's right. That's right.
Come around, people.
I get caught all the time, and my rule of thumb is I'm just honest about what I'm doing because if I start acting fishy, then people are going to get sketched out, and especially if it's like a security guard or something, and 9 times out of 10 they either don't care or they think it's kind of cool and they just walk away. Right. So yeah, I usually if I do get caught, I just tell, here's what I'm up to.
So you tell the truth and when you get caught, because everybody has their own go-to story when they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So what do you tell them? What do you say that you're doing?
I literally say, have you heard of geocaching? Oh, here's what it is. It's basically a treasure hunt where you try to find containers people have hidden around. And some people have follow-up questions and some people's eyes glaze over and they walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
But usually if it's a security guard or someone like that, because they want to make sure I'm not, doing anything nefarious. As soon as I tell them that, they usually think it's kind of funny and they kind of walk away.
Right.
So occasionally, depending on where you are, they'll be like, all right, keep it moving. But that's kind of rare.
I found it helps if you just take off running when they ask you a question. Just immediately get out of the area and don't say anything. Don't look back.
Yeah, I like to scream, "You'll never catch me, copper!"
That's right. Then
that
usually
usually helps.
Is he delusional or is he actual danger? Is he dangerous to himself or others?
Yeah. Do we take him to a jail cell or do we take him to a hospital?
Yeah, hospital.
In a big city, it could really be either. It really could all the time. So
Roomba Cat says he has a vest, garbage bag, and a claw stick. Works every time.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, that could work.
I guess on the performer angle, you probably have talent, so you couldn't do this. I could put out like the guitar case, flip it open like I'm trying to get money, and play horribly, and then everybody would like just intentionally not look at
Oh
me.
my gosh!
And then I could find the geocache real quick.
Right there, you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Be so bad that they don't want to come near you.
Sort of the reverse. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was performing, it would be that bad. Trust me. So it would work.
So gonna show last one of TikTok, because I want to ask you about this type of cache. There's several of these in the Chicago area. So let's start with this one.
I'm on my way to a virtual geocache. If you're not know, a virtual geocache is one that does not have an actual container or a log to sign, but rather it is a cool place to go where you might learn some information and might have to take a picture to log it.
There it is, Tribune Tower. It was completed in 1925 to house, you guessed it, the Chicago Tribune.
Embedded in the outside wall of Tribune Tower are 136 artifacts from historical sites around the world. These include
a rock from Seminaire de Quebec, a rock from where Washington landed after crossing the Delaware, a rock from the North Dakota International Peace Garden, a brick from the Hans Christian Andersen home in Odense, Denmark, a rock from the Orod Peninsula in Guam, another stone from Pearl Harbor, a brick from the Golden Castle in Osaka, Japan, a piece of Nebraska's Chimney Rock, fortress walls from Cartagena, Colombia, a rock from Antarctica, a brick from the original meeting house the Pilgrims had in Holland before they took the Mayflower to America. This thing, a mosque of the Suleiman, piece of metal from the World Trade Center, a piece of the original tomb of Abraham Lincoln, Roman ruins, a piece of the Alamo in Texas, and a piece of Kaminsky Park in Chicago. This piece of Notre Dame in Paris, a brick from Wrigley Field, whoa, exotic, a piece of the Stabian Baths from Pompeii, Italy, a piece of the Badlands from South Dakota. My friends from South Dakota. That's awesome. A stone from the Mesa Verde cliff dwellings in Colorado. Somehow we got a piece of the Great Pyramid at Giza, a brick from St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome, Italy, and a whole lot more. In order to log this cache, I have to take a picture of myself with one of these relics. Cheers! I'm on my way to a virtual geo.
That's funny. I didn't even know that was there. I've been in Chicago several times.
Yeah, it's funny. Like so many people have commented on that video and they had no idea that those things were embedded into the Tribune Tower. I happen to know, but only because like I had read an article about it like a couple of years ago.
Right.
So I finally went over after work one day and decided to log it. But that was a fun one, just like listing things as fast as possible.
Yeah, that was good.
Your videos, just like geocaching, really people can live in a city for a long time, and unless they come across something like this, they don't know what's in their own city. They really don't have any clue. They don't really explore their own city unless they're, doing videos like this or watching videos or geocaching or finding some kind of way to explore this. People live in a city and have no clue what's around them.
Yeah, that's one of the main things I love about geocaching is it takes you to locations you would never think to explore otherwise and appreciate what's there. And that could range from a historical site to just a beautiful view. But I really love it. It's made me appreciate Chicago so much more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Early on, somebody mentioned about the bean.
Oh yeah,
the giant bean in Chicago. That's
cool. Yeah, there's a virtual there for sure. Got to take a picture of your reflection in the bean.
Which is a fascinating. It's just fascinating the building of that too, because I watch a lot of weird videos. I watched one talking about SpaceX and how they do rivets on there, and they talked about how do you do something like the bean and not because it's mirror. I mean, you can't show rivets; that would not be any good. So
yeah, it appears to be seamless. So how did they do that? Yeah,
how do they do that? It's fascinating. So, all right. So let me check my notes. CloudGate. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that is correct.
Yes.
Yes, Darwolf. That's the official name, my friend. Yes, you're right. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I think we all appreciate most about geocaching is the idea that, well, we always talk about one of two things. Either the cache is amazing or the location's amazing. Hopefully,
Mhm.
one of the two, or it's just a generic cache, and another I can log it because I need one for that day, or
Right.
for-
This one's here just for the numbers or whatever. Yeah. The
Yeah.
power.
right. So as we kind of start to wrap up for tonight, do you have any plans of finding? Are there some on your list, that your bucket list, that you want to still find, or do you kind of, I guess, how do you geocache, in the sense that, do you kind of just like, hey, call up your friends and say, we're going to go find a couple, let's go this place? Or do you kind of think through, I want to go to this particular location? I guess, how do you look at, like, the process?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm very disorganized about it.
That's fine.
So
Nothing
much of
wrong
it
with that.
is like, I happen to be in this neighborhood. Let's see what's around. So that's how a lot of it started. Now I'm running out of geocaches within a 3-mile radius. So now now I make plans to go to places that have a bunch there. Like, if
Right.
I think you've seen a bunch of me and my friend Bailey exploring
Right.
a nearby place called the Bussy Woods, because it's just a geocacher's paradise. There's just so many there. So, like, when we're free, we'll just go back there at the same place, because it's going to take us a lot of visits to get them all. But yeah, I try to, like, think, like, if I'm visiting somewhere, I try to grab some geocaches. If I'm in the suburbs for some reason, I'm like, oh, let's see what geocaches are around nearby. I don't really necessarily have, like, oh, I have to get to this one.
Right.
In my life, I'm a little bit more, I guess, organic with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm with you. I tend to be a social. I've become more and more of just a social cacher.
Mhm.
If I'm going to go, I want to go with people, and that's just kind of, I'm kind of a social butterfly in that sense. I know, Jesse, you've kind of weaved in and out of different things you've done, where you get really focused on certain things, but then you'll switch gears and you'll focus differently, or you'll go on a road trip, which is weird. You're gonna have to find a new berry.
Oh no, I'm just gonna fly back out here. We're still gonna meet once a year. I've got my crew, and we got a crazy crew that goes. We get together once a year for a trip, and not all of them are necessarily in the area anymore. But we find a place to go every year, and we do 4 or 5 days worth of a trip. But yeah, I was just thinking about it. I think for my caching, it's either me with my family, my daughters and my wife, or I'd say probably at least 80% of the caches I've ever found, I've been with somebody. We go out with friends, or we go out doing that, or it's an event, or we meet up somewhere and we do that. I'll find ones just driving around and waiting and doing things or whatever. But because a lot of mine are hikes and stuff like that, because I'm in Colorado, so the opposite of where you're at, right? Most of ours are out hiking and everything else. And usually you do those with people because you're going in the mountains, and it's just smarter that way.
Sure.
Although you're in Chicago, so sometimes it's probably good for you to be with people too. So different dangers.
different dangers, but
different dangers. But yeah, for me, I think geocaching is more of a social thing. I don't go by myself a lot. I know a lot of people do that, but because I like to share the experience, and a lot of the ones that we do, it's like we'll do a group of them at a time and not go every day, and then we'll find another group that we'll do, and things like that. So
yeah, I mean, you can get what you want out of it. That's kind of the nice thing. It could be a fun group activity. It could be a solo adventure. Whatever, it works.
So now that things are sort of kind of back to normal, are you just going to keep? Is the geocaching / TikTok bug still affecting you, or?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that's changed is I'm a little busier now than I was. So
True.
carving out time to do it on the regular is the challenging part of it now.
True.
But no, I just as much, if not more than ever, I want to do it, and I have more and more people who want to go with me. So I'm excited to go with different friends, and
awesome.
And so and reconnect with people that way as well.
Right. That is awesome, man. Well, Bryce, it's gone fast. Thank you, my friend, for being on with us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you both.
It's fascinating. I love. Some people hate trying to find stuff in urban. I love the. I kind of love. I love it all, but I do love. There's. I think people need to not be afraid to urban cache. I think there's a place for that. If you're in a big city, don't feel like, you can't. I mean, there's caches. There's either, there's probably a ton of Adventure Labs. You could do Adventure Labs.
Oh yeah.
For the next 10 years in Chicago, probably.
Oh, for sure.
But looking forward to, hearing about how things are going. And, it's fun to hear about, what's happening. Remind people again a little bit if they're in the Chicago area, how they can come see PORTAL-PROV.
Sure. Yeah. So PORTAL-PROV is every Sunday at Otherworld Theater at 7:00 Central. And it's theater on Clark Street, just north of Wrigley Field. Sci-fi fantasy improv comedy show. You can also follow me on TikTok at the Bryce Reed. And I'm Bryce Foot on geocaching if you want to be my friend there as well.
Cool.
But yeah, those are the ways to find me.
I'm gonna.
We can make sure we put those links in our show notes as well. So
yeah.
People can come back and get.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Have those in the show notes. I just posted in the chat room his Twitter, which is the Bryce Reed, and I had it right, then I misspelled it, then I fixed it, then I misspelled it again, and then I fixed it. READ. So it's been
READ.
It's been a weird week for me. We had some other items that Bryce had sent, and then I guessed at some things incorrectly, and then anyway, it was kind of a mess. So we did fix a lot of that. So
yeah, it all worked out in the end, I think.
It all worked out. So again, thanks. And yeah, they're in the show notes, and I put some of that in the chat room, so it'll be there for people that are watching later, because we have people that watch later too. So, but again, thanks. We hopefully will be able to connect again. And if you're in the Chicago area, give Bryce a call, and maybe y'all can go find a geocache together.
Heck yeah.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you both.
You bet.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.